Welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of the most historic tracks in NASCAR's history. AMS has been the starting ground for a lot of the top drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series currently. Here on Muscle and Classics, what we love most about AMS is its focus on family and motorsports, with its seasonal races in the Bandolero and Legends divisions. This gives families an inexpensive chance to start their kids in motorsports young and help them graduate to the big league. Family, Muscle and Classics is the first of its kind. We represent the sport of car enthusiasts all over the world. So when we say we're going to put you in the driver's seat, we mean exactly that. We take it one step further by giving you one-stop shop access to the industry's aftermarket performance giants. Meet Gator, the wild one, the bonehead, but he definitely can handle that wheel. Now, Uncle Earl, he's the OG of 3-speed. He has tons of road miles under his belts and the experience to match. As for myself, E-Red, I created Muscle and Classics. We celebrate the fact that we're a family show, and families of vehicles of all types go hand in hand. Here on Muscle and Classics, you're going to learn how to be hands-on with your special vehicle, or as we like to call them, our 4-wheel and 2-wheel family members.
Family, this right here is Muscle and Classics. Family, welcome to this episode of Muscle and Classics. I'm your big brother E-Red, and I'm joined by my brothers, Gator, and the OG himself, Uncle Earl. And together we are 3-Speed. On this episode of Muscle and Classics, we take you inside of our home track in Georgia, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's right. Now, everyone knows the Atlanta Motor Speedway is the home of NASCAR in Georgia, and it also holds several annual events yearly, like the Summit Motorama. But AMS is also the home of TNT, Thursday Night Thunder, and F&D, Friday Night Drag.
That's right. Now, Thursday Night Thunder features the Bandolero, Outlaw, and Legends race divisions, and Friday Night Drag straight out features some of the greatest drag races in the state of Georgia, family. I'm talking build their car, tune their car, drive their car.
But first, we take you inside with our future NASCAR standout, Bailey North, and her father, Corey North, of North Racing. That's right. So, family, you know how we do it. Sit back, buckle up, because it's the home track advantage, right here on Muscle and Classics. All right, family, like we promised you in the beginning of the season, we was gonna be taking you inside with the best young and up-and-coming drivers, and today we take you inside North Racing with Bailey North and her father, Corey. Bailey is one of my favorite racers on the planet, so I'm a little biased, so come on in and meet the family. Bailey, Corey, hello. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Miss North! How you doing?
Good, how are you?
She's been getting some of them #1 trophies lately, Man, you have come so far in such a small amount of time, you and your dad. I mean, it's in the DNA, man. She can't help it. So we want to go in and check out some of your cars so the people at home can find out about Miss Bailey North.
Come on.
Let's do it. Ha-ha! The winner. Yes. I don't see you put down some quick times in this car, man.
Yes, sir.
So this is what I want you to do. I want you to tell everybody at home what your first 3 seasons have really been like, because I've got to see you progress, because I've been here and I've been watching, and you got a lot of fans on the internet too, you know, Instagram and all that. So tell everybody what your first 3 seasons have been like and what you learned.
Yeah. So my first season, we bought this car, and my dad just bought it because he was like, she may not stick with it for long. So we just got a whole hand-me-down car, and we started running the races. I wasn't very fast. Like, my dad could walk faster than me. But then Thursday Thunder came, and I was getting progress. I won 2 Thursday Thunder races in my rookie year.
That's right.
And then I moved up to the Bandits. It was fun. Then we bought this car. When I became an outlaw, I just
went all out.
I just snapped into the game.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's a friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
When I got the opportunity to get her, there wasn't no choice. I told myself, I'm gonna take custody of my daughter. It's my baby. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Take care of our home, build a foundation, you know what I'm saying? Love, our money, she's my purpose. I'm here to walk with her, hold her hand until she can walk alone. Ain't nothing like being a father in this world.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
I've seen you get a lot of first place trophies recently. So it's like the way you stick into it is constantly, you just constantly progressing. So, so from the hand-me-down car, you call it, to your main girl, how has your speed increased? Because speaking of speed, I've seen you get a lot faster.
We have, my first season, I wasn't going very fast. I was like, just going half the throttle, because I was like, okay, this is odd. But then now I'm just like
full throttle.
I'm driving it, I'm leaning and trying to make it go faster. I'm just trying to make everything I can do.
Man, look, I'll be watching you a lot on the track, and I watch you and your dad communicate on the radio a lot when you're talking, and it's like you have learned before. It's like sometimes I hear Corey telling you something, and by the time he can finish it, you already making the move on the course, and I'd be like, man, this thing is natural. This thing is natural because it's a clear understanding that some people decide to drive, but some people were born to drive. You know what I mean? And it's clear seeing that in you, and I think that's the special thing everybody sees with you as a driver. I mean, your dad has been a driver all his life. It's in your DNA. So what's been the hardest adjustment from not matching the throttle fully to the flow? What's been the hardest adjustment you have to keep yourself? You want to do this, but I can't right now. What's been the hardest adjustment?
My line. Because, like, I get kind of freaked out because I'm like, okay, I need to try this to make me go faster. I'm like, what if I just, like, wreck?
Right.
But then I just, like, we're just going to do it. And so I did it, and I saw it worked really well, like my dad said, because he was like, just do it, nothing will go wrong, you'll like it. And so I did it, and ever since then, I just gotten used to my line. We still have some, like, corners to fix, but it's getting a lot better than it used to be.
That's been the hardest thing for you to learn. Your line looks natural every time you hit a corner. Because, you know, a lot of times we're standing off the corner when we see you come up, and I was like, you know what, I couldn't even turn it. I couldn't even drive a car like that if I wanted to. It's been impressive. So, okay, so what's been the easiest thing? What's been the easiest adjustment?
Getting more aggressive, surprisingly. Because all the boys, they're like, oh, she's a girl. She can't drive. And then I'll just go on the track, because they think I'm a boy with the car, and I pop out and they're like, that was a girl? And so just getting more aggressive was the easiest thing for me to do.
So when really was the first time you knew, I want to do this?
Okay, so I've been growing up around the track with my dad because he started racing. So that's the only thing I ever grew up was around the dirt track, all kinds of track, motorcycle tracks, motocross. And then I was about 9 or 10, and he brought me to a Bando and Legends race. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then we went to go talk to Ken Reagan, the guy that's like in charge of everything.
Right.
And he was like, oh, bring her down. We can put her in the car. See, my dad was like, okay. He didn't think I was gonna stick with it at all. So I got in the car, and I was slower than a snail. It was the funniest thing. And so I was like, that was so much fun. And I was like, okay, so Dad, when are we gonna buy a car? So he bought us me a car, and I've just been, since I got my own car, I'm like, I love this.
So, your daddy, he's a very humble man and a good teacher, so he never admit to this, but to us, we know he's a legendary driver. Corey North, he ain't been out there for a minute, he's been at it. What's it like having a dad that just has a need for speed every day?
It's pretty cool, to be honest, because he's always goofing around, like just, we're on the highway, and he would just be like, I want to go race, and just,
take off, hit the gas.
I'm like, what are you doing? But he's a good teacher. I've grown a lot because of him, and yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. I love it to death. I love it to death.
All right, family, later in the show, we talk to Corey North. But after the break, we sit down with former NASCAR driver Kenneth Reagan.
Corey and Bailey have been a good addition to our program.
All right, family, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube so we can keep you up to speed on all the latest trends in autocross, restoration, resto mods, and the latest aftermarket equipment. We'll be right back.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's a friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanted to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
With the help of her father, professional sprint car driver and Legends driver Corey North, Bailey has been getting great experience through leagues like the Legends and Bandoleros Racing at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Directed by former NASCAR driver Kenneth Reagan. We sat down with Mr. Reagan to talk about the program and the North family.
Yeah, you know, I look at the kids today that get to start racing when they're even earlier than the time they turn 8 years old, they can get in a bandolero. But you got kids today that start actually racing in quarter midgets and go-karts at 5 years old. And I didn't have that opportunity when I was young, but it might be a good thing. But I've been very fortunate over the years. I grew up in a racing family. You know, we talked about racing. My dad raced built his first race cars in the 40s, got involved with NASCAR in the 40s, and through the 50s and 60s, you know, he was racing. I grew up in it and started driving in the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s, and my son David that's racing now, we started, you know, racing him in the 90s, and so it's been a 60, 70-year process for the Reagan family. I think from some of those things that I've experienced in the past, it gives me an idea as to what we can do for these kids nowadays, and I really enjoy coming out and not only working with family members of my own, but friends and their kids, and watching them progress and take the steps that sometimes will carry them all the way from racing for fun as a kid and a teenager to racing for their family's livelihood as they grow into professional racing. We've had a lot of our families go through this program and kind of spread out into all phases of motorsports, and it's been fun to watch.
All right, so for years you've been over the Legends department, and pretty much you've watched the progression of a lot of careers out here, big-time NASCAR drivers like Joey Lagan and your son. So Bailey North, we've been able to follow her from her rookie season, and just getting to know her and Corey and watching her progression over time. What do you think about Bailey, and where do you see her headed?
Yeah, and Corey and Bailey have been a good addition to our program, and I remember when he bought the first car for Bailey just 3 or 4 years ago, and she came in and we put her through a driving school, and she started racing, you know, in the Bandolero division, and she's made a lot of progress, and she's gotten really competitive. She's won a few races here recently, and she's beginning to really get a hold of her car. Pretty good little road racer too. You know, we saw her perform well up at Atlanta Motorsports Park this past fall and out here on our road course. She did well up at Lanier on the 3/8 mile. She always runs good down at Cordele. And Cordele is a 4/10 mile asphalt oval, and that's about as big a track as you're going to find the Bandolero cars running on.
Right.
But she doesn't mind going down there at all. As a matter of fact, she enjoys it. I think that's one of her favorite tracks. And it's amazing how well she does. But you know, just recently, her dad has bought a Legends car. And I think the long-range plan for that Legends car is not for him to race it.
That's right.
I think he's in it now, kind of feeling it out and learning the feel of it, so that he can better understand what she's relating to when she starts driving it. But I think down the road in short time, he's got plans to mount her a seat in that car and strap into a Legends car. And that's a real little race car. You know, it's 130 horsepower, only 1,300 pounds of weight, a manual shift, 5-speed shifter, and those cars really put on a good show, and they're 85 to 100 miles an hour. And you take a teenage, you know, boy or girl, either one, and you can really answer a lot of questions. So we look forward to Bailey getting in her Legends car and attacking, you know, the Young Lions division and moving on up through those ranks. So she's just one of the girls that we have here in Atlanta, which we've got several.
That's right.
That are really, you know, making a little bit of noise down here with the pro she's at.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Well, we thank you for taking the time out with us to talk about Bailey and the program overall, because you guys and your family are doing such a great job here, man. And, you know, just don't stop. These kids need you. You know, nowadays, they don't get the baton passed from that next generation like that. But, you know, you and your family, y'all definitely doing that and keeping it up. So thank you for that. And thank you for sitting down with us and talking to us today.
We enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Boot Camp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's a friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
When I got the opportunity to get her, there wasn't no choice. I told myself, I'm gonna take custody of my daughter. It's my baby. That's what we're supposed to do as men, take care of our home, build a foundation, you know what I'm saying? love, our money. She's my purpose. I'm here to walk with her, hold her hand until she can walk alone. Ain't nothing like being a father in this world.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
Mr. Reagan and Bailey have mentioned Corey's most recent addition to the North family, their Legends car. My older brother, Uncle Earl, gets the scoop on a new ride.
All right, family, welcome back. I'm here with the man himself, Mr. Corey North. What's going on, man?
It's another day in paradise.
I know that's right. So this is a new addition to the family, huh?
This is a new addition, Dad's toy for a little while until it's time to pass it down the ranks to Bailey.
I saw she was looking at it earlier. She keeps looking at this car at the corner of her eye every time she passed by.
I've been finding her sitting in the seat trying to adjust the belts to her size instead of mine. So.
Man, that got to be awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about this car. What motors in it? How fast does it go? You know, what's the qualification? What division does this car go in?
This is an INEX Legend car.
Okay.
So it's they race in conjunction with the Bandoliers like Bailey's in now.
Okay.
I think there's mostly 11 years old and up age limits, 12 years old and up. But it's kind of the graduating series above the Bandos.
Okay.
There's a motorcycle motor. It's a Yamaha FZ09 water-cooled motor. Spec car, or spec motor, spec car, spec tires, just like the Bandos.
Okay.
I think they're 100-something horsepower. I don't know exactly. Low 100s.
Get up, man. They get up.
So yeah, I mean, it's just another spec chassis, just a step above the Bandos.
Yeah.
That most kids, you know, when they're 12, 13, usually about the time that they move into it. So.
Right. All right, so Corey, you've been driving for a while, so tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get started?
Dad put me in a quarter midget when I was 5, and he bought me a go-kart when I was 3, and by the time it was 4, he's souping it up, and 5 years old comes, and you know, we were old enough to start racing quarter midgets, so we put in quarter midgets, and kind of started out like this, just bought just the cheapest car that we could to see if it was something that I was gonna stick with. And a year later, we're 2 or 3 cars in the garage, 7 or 8 motors, 30-foot trailer, and it's all we ever did growing up. We traveled to the races on the weekend, and you know, we always missed the high school football games and so forth. But
wow, man.
Dad was always a fan of racing. He never did any himself, and I guess that when he had a boy, he saw that I was his guinea pig just to put me in one.
It's time to try.
That's right. So it just snowballed from there.
All right, so now that quarter's kind of flipped on the other side, it's you taking Bailey around to all the places. You get in the garage, you get in the cars. What's that transformation been like?
Well, it's cool to watch her progress, her progression. The progression of my wallet getting thinner is not as fun, but yeah, it roles reverse, you know. I mean, I remember back when I was her age racing, and you just, you know, you're out there having fun with your friends, you're on a track racing. You don't really think about it at 13 years old that Dad's spending some money, he's devoting some time to this.
Yes, sir.
But I'll be honest, I mean, ever since we've had this in the garage, I've had still more fun being a crew chief to her, and just, you know, seeing her do things that's doing things different from the race before, you know, just that level of progression and the things that she learns to carry on from one race to the next. it's pretty cool to see, you know.
That's awesome,
13
man.
years old.
That's really awesome. So you back behind the wheel for a little while, because the belly gonna push you out this car eventually.
It ain't gonna be long.
So tell us, what division are you racing in, man? Because I've seen you doing some good stuff lately.
Well, they got me in a pro division right now because I'm not old enough to be in the Masters. So as of now, we're running the pro division, and if I can convince INEX to lower the Masters age a little bit,
Right.
then I'd like to move
Right.
up. But yeah, we're going. I mean, the whole point of this was, yeah, I get to have a little fun, but if I can go and get in the car prior to Bailey stepping in it, that I can learn a little bit about it. You know, what the adjustments do. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in a race car, and the past 5 years of me on a race car or in a race car was on dirt. So I'm having to learn a lot of stuff all over again. And so yeah, this is just kind of just a way to get her toes wet, you know, in this car and gain a little bit of knowledge before she jumps in it, because when she moves to this, I'll be done.
You'll be done.
Yeah, I can't keep up with two of them.
You gonna have to buy another car, man, to get in this so you can be in the Masters, qualify for the Masters by then.
That's right. Well, and hopefully maybe one day where I won't have to keep up cars, there'll be somebody else who wants her to drive for us.
That's right.
Then I can get back in and have fun.
Stay tuned for more Muscle and Classics.
Scene 103, take one.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not.
How do I know the way I'm gonna respond to it?
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
What if you end up in the hospital? That's what I'm scared of.
If you was to die, man, that would literally kill me, man.
I hug you.
Yeah. If it made you feel that way, bro, I would probably do. I love you, man. I love you too.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Well, so check this out. So we do this thing here on Muscle and Classics. It's do's and don'ts. Now, I know right now, it's tons of parents sitting home with their kids tugging on them that wants to get into the sport. So what are some of the do's and don'ts that you would give parents, you know, advice you would give parents at home who kids want to get into this, man?
Well, first, have fun. Yeah, it's expensive. It takes a lot of time and a lot of devotion. And I think a lot of people probably outside looking in on kids doing this type of sports when they're young. It's real easy to try to push and live vicariously through your kid.
Right.
And so to try to not to do that, but just to have fun with it. You know, to see, to get out there and see, you know, your kid that's 8, 9, 10, 11 years old driving a car and battling. We're not just driving a car, but battling.
That's awesome, man.
It's hard to not try to direct them and teach them and tell them each everything to do.
Right.
I think that one of the best things that we have done is to let her learn by experience so much as learning through me telling her things, you know.
Right.
When you learn, you know, and we all know this, when we learn about things by experience, it sticks in it a lot better.
Yeah.
And so that's been probably one of the number one things is have fun. But we take it seriously. I mean, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of time devoted to this, so it's still something that gets taken seriously. But the main thing is, I think the last the last thing that I tell her before she goes on track, have fun.
All right. So it's a thing of walking a fine line, basically. You don't want to push them one direction so hard. You want to kind of let them pace themselves through and learn as they go.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of, you kind of give them a little bit of knowledge or something and say, here's the situation. If this happens, this is what you do.
Right.
And then eventually when they're presented with situations, they have to decide, do I do this or do I do this? And usually after the experience comes along, they'll know immediately, because this is all about making decisions by the seat of your pants.
Yes,
you don't have
sir.
time to think about much,
Yeah.
So it gives her a lot of tools in life, I think, even going forward, outside of motorsports, in many different avenues of life.
Yeah, you're right.
Bailey and I took a walk around the vintage market at Atlanta Motor Speedway, sifting through all of the great vintage car parts and memorabilia. It's a true candy store for car lovers, and it gave me an inside look, family, at this 13 years old ability to save things to mine in an instant, which is one of the reasons she's become such a great driver so fast. The Atlanta Motor Speedway is basically Bailey's second home. The same way the racetrack opens its arms to new drivers like Bailey is the same way it creates opportunities for builders and companies at events like the Summit Motorama. Held annually in the spring, the public gets a chance to meet up close and personal some of the most experienced builders in the game.
I'm here with my favorite builder. You know I'm biased. Mark Engel of Atlanta Auto Restoration. So, man, Mark, you out here every year, man. So you always have a layout out here. What you bring out this year?
So this year we brought, this is a 67 Chevelle that we're doing.
Beautiful.
For a customer. It is a true 138 SS
Wow.
Chevelle.
Matching numbers and whole nine, huh?
Numbers, whole 9 yards.
Okay.
And we're glad to be doing this. Of course, black is beautiful, so.
Absolutely.
This thing, the body work on it and everything has taken a while to get it super, super slick, super straight.
It's beautiful, man.
And it's turned out really well. And he did want to do, this is more of a resto mod, so he wanted to do everything in here gloss black. So everything inside the engine bay has been painted and polished and buffed. Normally not what you would see on an original restoration.
Right.
That's what he wanted.
But you always make the jury box look super duper nice, man. You always do that. All right, family, right now we getting ready to go into the show car hall. This is where the baddest builders showcase their work. Come on, let's go.
Family, you can also run into some of the baddest one-off resto mod builders on the planet. Check out this Hemi S from Garrett's Rod Shop out of Columbus, Ohio. It's a 1968 S Barracuda with a 6.1 Hemi and a Magnuson supercharger. Woo! No wires, no loose lines anywhere. Everything is tucked. This is a 3.5 to 4 year build. It has an Art Morrison chassis up under it, and it features some specialty bullet wheels. The interior has a beautiful red flowing Martin look. Hey man, great effort by Carl Schoma and Garrett's Rod Shop. Stay tuned for more Muscle and Classics.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF. When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday. Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend? Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul. This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
All right, family, right now we inside the Crown Jewel, the $1 million car room. Now, every year they have a theme, and this year's theme is the Bonneville Salt Flat cars. Most of these beautiful vehicles in here are broken some kind of record or getting ready to. So let's check out a couple of them. It's a nice roadster. Top speed, 204.6 miles an hour. Beautiful car, man, beautiful car. 69 Plymouth Barracuda. This is a very famous car here, man. This car here has went 317 miles an hour. Pro Charger, supercharged. Top speed for this car would be 248 miles an hour, and that was done back in August of 2018. Don't really have a top speed on this car, but it's a beautiful 950 horsepower, 540-inch cubic block, big block Chevy. All right, the next car we see over here is it's another Bonneville Salt Flats car. PC Engine Specialist is who this is owned by. Top speed, 200 miles an hour. Wow. 368 cubic inches, 400 horses, baby. What you see now is this beautiful, what looks like what we call a bullet car, but it's just actually a plane on land, man. It's like a rocket on land. And we're actually lucky enough to have Mr. Mike Welch and Miss Libby back here. How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing
yes,
good.
Sir. Yes, sir. Tell us a little bit about the car and what's coming up for the season.
Well, it's a new car. It's a streamliner for Bonneville, as you well know.
Yeah.
Streamliners are recognized worldwide as the fastest wheel vehicles in the world. Cars like this, the elite teams, and I emphasize that, the elite teams run 475 miles an hour on every pass.
Wow.
In fact, they've had one back in October of last year to exceed 500 for the first time in history, wheel driven, not jet propulsion.
Right. Wheel driven, huh?
This is new for us from South Carolina. We're looking for 300 as a start. 300 goes well, then 350, and we'll go from there.
Man, I'm sure you would get it. I'm sure you would get it.
All right.
Miss Libby, good to meet you. Thank you for letting us take up some of you guys' time. You continue to enjoy yourself.
All right.
This beautiful thing. This is a beautiful car, man. And we wish you the best. We'll be checking you out.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys again. All right, so family, that will do it from inside the $1 Million Room. You've checked out several cars you will not see in one place again at one time. We'll be right back.
All right, family, on a personal note, the one thing I love at AMS is checking out all the classic cars when they show up for an event.
Now this nasty. That's a real deal Stingray right there. Matching numbers. Beautiful truck. Yeah, absolutely. 65 or 66? 63? So they went with the front like that in 63 to 66?
Yeah.
Okay. This is beautiful.
It was my grandfather's, and after he died, my brother bought it for my grandmother, and it's been redone a couple of times because it was red and white originally.
Wow, see?
Then it went solid red, and now we're blue and gray.
See, that's the show we shoot, and that's what the show is all about, how cars, their family heirlooms, they always there.
Yeah.
You know, I hope I can leave a couple of cars for my kids, but this is a gorgeous truck, man. I like the color blue y'all chose. It fitted.
Yeah, it looks good.
Fits it
He's
well.
got a little Coca-Cola trailer that he he bought somewhere, and he painted it blue and silver.
So it matches?
Yeah, so we didn't bring it today.
That's awesome.
All right, family, after the break, we go in deep to one of AMS' most popular events other than NASCAR, Friday Night Drag. Do you have a car, truck, or bike that should be featured right here on Muscle and Classics? If so, share it with us on our Facebook or our Instagram at Muscle and Classics.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF. When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday, Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend? Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul. This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Not anything but lonely. Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
Now, we've covered quite a few things that take place here at AMS, but probably one of the most exciting and popular events is Friday Night Drag.
Family, it's the #1 3-speed brother Gator, and we are here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Friday Night Drags. Now, we usually open up with the show and shine, and that's where people get to bring their cars and show them off to the whole audience, the crowd that comes out to join them here at the Speedway. So all I'm gonna do today is sit back and let the visual speak for itself. Friday Night Drags right here on Muscle and Classics at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's get into it.
Now, from state line to state line, drag racing differs. In some places, you have people that only do a water burnout. In other places, it's all about the pimp juice. There's different rules and regulations. You have some places where they start from a tree, or you have some places where they start with an arm drop. Well, here in Georgia, it's all about the old school way. You won't find one of these drivers on the course that doesn't build their car, work on their car, and drive their car. Some habits, what we may call old, die hard. But here in Georgia, that's what it's all about. If you're a real builder and a real racer, you're hands-on from the beginning of your project until it crosses the finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy Friday Night Drags. All right, family, if you like talk radio or you've ever been to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, I'm sure you've seen this guy running around the track full speed. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, Dustin Bixby, the man that heads up Show and Shine and Friday Night Drags.
So Dustin, we checked out Thursday Night Thunder yesterday. Friday Night Drags tonight, man. Tell us a little bit about it, what's going on with the cars on the track behind us, and just how long it's been going on in general.
Friday Night Drag starting our 13th year here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it's
really just street racing here on our pit lane drag strip. We turn pit road of the NASCAR track into a 8th-mile pit lane drag strip, and it's really just bring what you got, come on out, and compete. We just take any cars that we have, we put them in light class, and just let them go down pit road. We'll just drag the brag, winning you're in, so you keep running if you keep winning until we get down to our finals. And then before that, we do a speedway cruise. So we have people that come out and show their cars as part of the event, and then we'll let them take 2 laps around the speedway. So just a great opportunity to drive the track every Friday night during the summer as part of our speedway cruise. And so we'll park on the front stretch, let the fans come on over and check those cars out. So it's just a real fun event for families, for kids. We get a lot of high school kids that come on out, but we also get a lot of classic cars and cool cars that come on out to take part in it. So just a really cool event.
That's what's up. And the thing that's so special about it, you guys will take it a step further. You do something special for the crowd every other week during the season. Tonight, you guys got the gassers.
Yeah, we do promotions throughout the week. We'll have fireworks on the 4th of July. We'll run a special July 4th, but as you said, we got the Southeast Gassers Association with our Nostalgia Night presented by Herman's Mechanical Services. So we've got old 60s drag cars that'll come out. We'll run them a couple of times here during the night. And they run a series, and they're doing an exhibition here tonight to give all these fans an opportunity to check it out. They love coming here. We get great crowds.
Yes,
It's really something different that we do throughout the year, like you said, different kind of promotions to give you a little something extra as you come out and have fun here at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Friday Night Drags.
All right, family, there's tons of drivers that race here regularly during the season and around the state of Georgia yearly. This beautiful green Nova, you recognize it on several tracks if you've watched drag racing anywhere in the state of Georgia. And also, we have a ton of new drivers come out, like James Rossler and his beautiful black Camaro.
All right, family, you just saw the pass. This beautiful green Nova, driven by my main man, Mark. Mark, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
All right. Now, I've been watching Mark put it down for a couple of seasons. So, man, tell us a little bit about the car. You got one of the only all-steel cars here. Everybody else's car kind of chopped up a little bit.
Everybody else is a glass car.
Yeah.
It's got chassis works chassis, back half, 632 glide, and it's all been done by me.
So you one of the true old school greats, and that's why I got respect for you. You can build, tune, and drive.
Yes,
you rarely get that nowadays.
Everything motor we built, everything, tranny, everything.
Well, man, thank you for taking the time, breaking down the car, and we're going to check you out in the next round. Keep laying it down, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Man, it's fun. Like, I bought this car in like February, and you know, I didn't really get into the tracks until I bought this car. So now, like, this is a whole nother lifestyle for me.
Stay tuned for more Muscle and Classics.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF. When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday, Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single? Asking for a friend. Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
right, family, everyone has a personal love affair with their vehicles. Some of us drag race, some of us don't. Some of us just like to bring our cars out and show them off. So sit back and check out how friends get together to compete on Friday night at the Show and Shine.
Yes, sir. And your first place winner, Show and Shine, baby, here at Friday Night Drag. Congratulations, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, tell everybody your name, man. Where you from? I'm Hunter Bryson. I'm from Griffin, Georgia. Griffin. Yes, sir. This truck behind you from Griffin, too. Yeah, me and her came here together. Yeah, man. Yeah. Y'all got some bad trucks. Y'all got two of the baddest trucks in the game. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, how long you been doing it? I've had this truck for about 2.5 years, and over time, I've just been slowly doing my own work to it. Yeah, I built my headlights and built my taillights as well. That's what's up, man. Young builders. Y'all taking over, man. Y'all taking over, man. Beautiful truck. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. How often do you come out here? Y'all out here every Friday? Every Friday, yes, sir. All right, so tell me your name, man, because I love your truck.
Thank you. I'm Trucker Girl. I'm from Griffin. And I have 2012 Yukon. I built her.
Whoa.
Yes, I just did it January, February, and March. Took me 3 months to do it.
Dedication, mama.
Yes,
Dedication.
yes. 26 by 14 rims. My color, my paint job flips. It's a pearl white with pink lime green and blue in it.
I see it too.
Yes, and I got my grill. It says Trucker Girl on it.
Trucker Girl.
Yes, yes.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
I love 18. Well, I drive 18 wheelers as well. So I'm into trucks and lifted trucks. I'm a real trucker girl. I ain't playing. Trucks is light. Trucks is light. I love it.
So you like coming out here? You out here a lot? Or this your first weekend?
Yeah, I'm liking it so far.
Now here on Muscle and Classics, we celebrate the sport of car enthusiasts all over the world. And we would like to invite you to Muscle and Classics Apparel. Now we pride ourselves on being a family show, so we have gear options for every member of the family. And don't forget, make sure to take a picture in your Muscle and Classics gear and tag us. Log on to muscleandclassics.live or click the QR code below.
That's how you drive a beauty, baby.
Let's cover the do's and the don'ts of drag racing. First, we're going to start with the do's. 1, do your homework. Study up on drag racing and its history. Go to as many different types of drag races as possible to see what it actually looks like for yourself in person. TV has a way of making things appear easier than they really are. 2, do talk to as many drag racers as possible. Find out what you're actually getting into with the motorsports of drag racing. 3, once you start drag racing, do make sure you have the correct equipment for the speed and class that you're running in. 4, do have fun, family. After all, that's what it's all about. Up next are the don'ts. 1, if you're not a drag racing car builder, then don't, I repeat, don't try to build your own race car, family. That's why they have professional builders, and there's a ton of correctly built cars on the web that you can have checked out and buy. 2, don't continue a pass if something sounds or feels wrong with the car, truck, or bike you may be racing. Family, remember, safety's first. 3, don't speed into the pits or speed on the return road. Respect the safety of everyone on and at the track. 4, if you're not ready to make a pass, then don't. Being sure in yourself and the car is the most important rule in drag racing. All right, family, that'll do it for the do's and don'ts for drag racing and this week's Safety Corner. We'll be right back after the break. All right, family, that'll do it for Friday Night Drags. Getting back to Atlanta Motor Speedway's focus on motorsports and family, we're back in the garage with Bailey and Corey North of North Racing Development.
So we were looking at a little bit of your footage earlier. So tell us about, some of the things that you had to deal with this season and what's it been like getting used to it?
We definitely had a rough season this year, but that didn't stop anything. We would make our way up front of the pack, and then we'll just get turned around. Then we'd keep making our way up front, and we just got turned around.
You know what, but I saw a couple of those races, and you're a great sportsman. That's the one thing I admire most about Bailey, man. I don't know if it's just natural progression with her doing that, or you teaching it or drilling it into her, but she is really a good sportsman about some of the things that happen because, you know, everybody's not being a good sportsman at the same time in a lot of those situations. So, you know, where does she get that from, man?
We're trying to drive a little bit of the good sportsmanship out and a little bit of aggression in, you know, trying to find that fine balance. But she's, you know, she's just got the personality where she just, you know, she wants to get along with everybody. But I've seen recently in the races that she spoke of where she'd make her way forward and she'd get spun around. And she'd come back through the field and she'd get to that one that spun her out and she'd give him a little jolt, let her know.
That's right. Tell me, Barry, that's right.
So look, we bring out a little bit more of that over the next few races. I think that she'll have a pretty good year coming up next year.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think it's gonna be a great season coming up. I get to come to your races and I see you a lot. So when you're out there on the track, what's your focus? What are you thinking about? What goes through your mind?
Like, if I get spun out, my main thing is to make my way back up through the field and get where I belong.
So a lot of times you have to go to the back of the field and then come all the way back up, because you've done that a few times, and come all the way back to the front of the field. So that's just a testament to your driving skill. So there's a lot of kids home, I know, follow you online, that's watching you right now. What are some things you would tell them if they want to get involved, or do this, don't do that, you know, just give them a few tips.
I definitely say get a lot of seat time and watch your drivers up front and see like what they're doing. Don't give up and just keep striving.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first right here.
There you have it, the home track advantage from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where families can live their love for motorsports and keep it in the family. Like Corey and Bailey, we can all learn to spend time needed to learn about each other. Family, in this day and time where kids are pushed to sit in the house and just play on the computer and not go outside and exercise, this gives families a chance to learn intimate details about each other. And also, it gives families a chance to find the hidden talents in themselves and their kids. And as always important, keep God first and keep it in your own way. Take care.